All right, good evening. It is 4 o'clock and we're ready to start our call board meeting on today, Thursday, April 27th. Thank you all for being here. Minutes will show that we have all of our board members present. We have one topic on the agenda, which was announced with our call meeting announcement, and that is to identify the top candidate or candidates for the position of Superintendent of Schools and to determine the way forward regarding processes and timing for any interviews and hiring. So I guess the way we will begin is if you guys want to pass me your score sheets, I'll record scores and then I'll return them to you.
Preliminary score.
We can call FFA City.
Okay. All right. Whose these are, I'm just writing down. All I need is the math.
No.
All right. What was yours?
The two that are over here go that way. So.
Yes, yes. I'm tracking. No writing so far.
It wouldn't hurt my face because I think I think Sarah wrote in Janine when they hired me. So.
That's fine.
I would have written.
So nobody takes that
All
stuff.
right.
That is too funny.
So let me get off my 1980s engineering school calculator.
I didn't know they still made those.
I was
They
gonna say,
don't.
still kicking.
They don't. It's just still going.
Treasure.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to trust my math. I'm going to do these unless somebody's really quick on the calculator and wants to do this.
I have a question.
Sure.
I didn't know they were gonna be, they're being scored, tallied, total.
Yes, and then an averaged, and then we'll have an average score, which will tell us the relative ranking of all of these, right?
You want your sheet back?
All right. Already got 3 done, so it's not going to take that long. Why am I going to hundreds of places? I'm going to. I don't think it's that critical. It's the engineer in me. I'm just writing down the number my calculator tells me to do. Okay, so.
Somebody may have a .55 and a
Well, that's right.
If y'all get down to that on the candidates, y'all, there needs to be some heavy interviewing on that. Is
All
the
right.
Sandy of the mics on? Just that mic?
Probably just that.
Okay, I see this here, I didn't know. Okay, so I'll pull mine in closer.
Oh,
I feel a little professional and
I know it.
hanging in.
Aye.
Let's do some Q&A.
Only 4 to go here, so bear with me.
Has the school system always had the board meetings up in the multipurpose room? Or either at the schools?
Yeah. As long as I can remember.
Ooh, why can't we have them in here?
Well, I
So much more
Good.
space.
Oh, people,
I do like it in here. I think that you ought to do that.
Yeah.
Put it in here, then put our screen back behind it, and then you do it down here, and then this was where you had the board meetings. It'd be
That's how they do it. That's what it's designed for.
that. Well, the place I came from, we had big, but of course now we have our own room, and it was this size and all that.
Start in 2025.
Is that what you're getting at?
The chairs are nice.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I know Sandy'd like to have that because she would have to go and set that thing up every Monday or Monday once a month.
If y'all are interested in writing this down, just so you'll have a record of it, I'll give you first of all the average score across all 6 board members in terms of ranking. Roger Alsop, his average was 4.8. I don't think we're gonna need to go to the hundreds place on any of these averages. Mr. Broadnax, his average was 8.8. Regina Dodson was 3.5. Natasha Hereford was 6.17, let's call it 6.2. Alex Hughes was 5.7. Eric Jones was 1.0. Laura LaChance was 2.5. Jason Quick was 5.5. And John Tucker was 7. So in terms of rankings, by those average rankings, we would have number 1 would be Eric Jones, number 2 would be Laura LaChance, number 3 would be Regina Dodson. It appears that
Alsop.
Jason, oh yeah, that's right, Roger Alsop is number 4. Then we get to Jason Quick is number 5. Alex Hughes is number 6. Is it Natasha Hereford is number 7. John Tucker is number 8. And Roderick Broadnax is number 9. So, we have a unanimous consent number 1 in Eric Jones. We have Laura LaChance, whose average ranking was 2.5. So open to board discussion and where we go from here.
So are we only interviewing the top 3, the top 1, or just what we deciding?
Whatever the board decides, yeah. If we wanna do interviews, or if we wanna do, we're not required, board's not required by any law or
Okay.
anything to do any particular process.
Okay.
Whatever the board chooses.
I'd like to suggest that we recommend to the board in a vote Monday night that Eric Jones be named superintendent.
Okay, you said I'd like to suggest that.
Yeah, you can't make a motion in here.
Well, we can, this is a called meeting, so this is an official board meeting, so if the board wanted to, or even,
You can take a vote, this one,
you can
as
take a
long as you
vote.
stay, keep it on the,
That's right, as long as it relates to these topics.
Okay. Well, I move that we nominate Eric Jones as our new superintendent.
Okay,
If that gives us the right to vote on it, we can make a motion.
that's
and we
right,
can
that's right,
discuss it.
that's right. Okay, you got a motion? Not until we either get a second or it dies for lack of a second. Okay, any second? Okay, I got a motion and a second, that we, and your motion was specifically that we nominate Eric Jones for this position, okay? So now we can have any discussion y'all would like to have. We can do that before or after.
Okay.
Before any motion or after a second is when we can discuss. So now we can discuss, Ms. Bryce.
Can we get a chance, like, to speak to him, talk to him?
Absolutely, absolutely.
is it proper, can I make a comment? And is,
Probably not officially, but we're pretty loose, so.
yeah, I was just gonna say, you could put, Tommy could amend his motion to pending an interview with with Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you amended that to where it would be
Right.
that, pending an interview of the candidate after that, and that way you could actually.
Sure, and then we would also need to
Then-
authorize the finance
Understand that.
committee, because whoever we employ in this role will have to come to negotiating a contract terms.
Yes.
So presumably, we would, in the past, we've always authorized the finance committee to go negotiate those terms. That's why each of you has a copy of the current contract with Mr. Hopkins. So, yeah, so to proceed, we have a board meeting Our next regular board meeting for May will be 5 o'clock Monday, May 1st. And so, you know, this board's not shy about scheduling a work session before or after or whatever. So if you wanted to, just to throw out a possibility, if you wanted to have an interview/discussion with Mr. Jones or any of these candidates, we could certainly entertain the possibility of doing that before the 5 o'clock board meeting, if folks could be there.
Well, I mean, what is the consensus of the group?
You can't, you can give opinions.
Sure.
Right,
It's
right,
a discussion time, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a discussion time.
For what, I feel like there is some, I don't know, and I can't, I feels like we're doing disservice to not interview, I don't know, at least our top two. But maybe not, I don't know.
Will of the board, just whatever the board feels.
Well, the service needs to be to the children of the Fayetteville City Schools,
Right.
not the candidates, and, I mean, you know, and I've been a candidate myself, so, you know,
What does that mean?
what I mean is, I wouldn't, if you, I wouldn't be, it's not a disservice to the candidates if we didn't interview, if you interviewed two. If you just choose to just be well, we want to make sure that we're going to interview the top three, top four, whatever. If there's a candidate that you think's the best candidate based on whatever the criteria is, I think that you should stick with that. Not just to interview to be interviewed, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, evidently, we all feel like Eric's the person, or he wouldn't have graded out at a 1.
That's right. It was
That
unanimous.
means everybody voted
That's right.
was there
a
a
1
consistent,
for him.
there's not a consistent two, is there?
Ms. LaChance, her average was 2.5, and so she only had one non-number 2 ranking score on the board. So after that, it really gets, the waters are pretty muddy with, as I look across all the scores, and I'm happy to share these with you, but the individual scores, but really the most important thing was this one.
She had 5 out of 6 twos.
That's right, that's right. Her scores were 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 5. And I can look across, if you're interested, I can read you the other scores, but except for some very low candidates, which were consistently low, the ones between there tend to be pretty mixed up in terms of how they specifically rated out at the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of spots, 7.
Well, so there's nothing to say that we don't interview our top candidate, and if it's not satisfactory, we have the option to interview a second candidate.
That's right.
If we deem that to be
Absolutely.
appropriate.
That's right.
So
That's right.
our hands aren't tied if nobody says they have to be on the same day, if we're not satisfied with our first
Right,
one.
that's right, that's right. We could do one, or we could do it whenever you want to do it. We can schedule them back to back at another time. I just wanted to throw that
I
out.
think the most protective thing to do, that we're making the most absolute correct choice, is we interview before it's called to a vote.
Mhm.
Is that saying that right?
Mhm.
What do y'all think? I guess what I'm saying, I wanna have the opportunity for the board to have an interview
Sure.
before we are make a motion to go forward. So at that point, we have the time to discuss if we wanna do something different, or if we wanna go full steam ahead with our top candidate.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
it, and that's my thoughts.
All right. Anything, Ms. Hunt?
I don't have
Okay, okay. So we have before us a motion that nominated Mr. Eric Jones.
But he can amend it.
Oh, yes, he can. I just wanted to clarify where we are in the discussion. We have,
Anybody can add an amendment,
No, okay.
as long as it's approved.
sure,
You gotta have a motion to amend and a second, then you vote on it.
that's right. That's right.
Me and Robert got to know each other.
Robert's
Although it might get a little sticky, to be honest, because that was a very committal motion. It might be cleaner if we withdrew, if, just hypothetically, withdraw that motion and second, and then we could make a new clean motion and second, so it was very clear what we're doing here, so that we don't have an embedded amendment to another motion. Those get a little mental gymnastics to me. If the board, if Mr. Holland, who made the motion, would be willing to withdraw it, then we could reconsider.
Well, I just hate to know, I personally, if I found out everybody voted for me to do the job, and then, they got quit, we're gonna have a sit down with him, and he's worked with us for 20-something years,
Right.
and we're still not sure if he's the one until we talk to him. Well, that's, to me, that makes me more uncomfortable about it than anything. So, but I'll go along with the group. I mean, I'm not hesitant to change.
Okay.
Just my opinion.
Okay. So.
So I withdraw my motion
Okay.
if Bridget will withdraw her second.
Okay. All right.
If I'm married, I would.
So, so the floor then would be open for a motion of how we proceed. It feels like we're focusing on the top two candidates here. The score break would suggest that, but, and that would be Mr. Eric Jones, who is a unanimous #1 ranking for the board, and Ms. Laura LaChance, who is a unanimous #2 with one exception. So. Is there a motion that we,
So we want to make a motion, I'm not sure how this was worded before, we want to mention that we accept Mr. Jones to be our pending interview.
oh, okay, yeah. So the board would proceed with an interview with Mr. Jones, and going into that, would we presume that we would hire him if the interview goes well, or are we just doing an
Yes.
interview with him? Okay,
Yes,
so you're,
that's fine.
okay, I'm just clarifying what the
Making a motion
motion
that
is.
we approve Mr. Jones as our top candidate pending interview.
As the presumptive hire
And the presumptive
for that.
new director of
Right,
schools
right,
for
right, right.
23-24.
You work for the government too long, you get too many.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Stop
stop.
saying
No,
We
no.
can dance however we want.
I mean, it's just us,
It's
right?
still, they have to be taken
All we're
out.
doing is saying, okay, we want Eric to be our choice. But we're adding words, we're taking words away.
Right.
We want to, the second one, it was 2.5, never mentioned her. I mean, if I'm a perfect candidate and we picked him, he ought to be picked. That's as far as if we had named somebody else, I'll vote no on it. But I just hate to see us railroad Eric
Sure.
down another track, and he's done deserve that.
But your motion is that we schedule an interview with Mr. Jones as our choice, and then the board will make official action regarding hiring later. Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, super. Well, that's a motion.
A second.
You got a second? Thank you. Any discussion about that? And we're clear, what we're talking about is bringing him in to talk to him, interview him, goes well, the consensus of the board is unanimously that he is the favored candidate, then we would at that time pursue probably authorizing the finance committee to go negotiate a contract, right? Is probably what we would do, okay? Okay, well, then all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Great, okay, so we have identified our top candidate. And now the question is, when would we like to invite Mr. Jones for an interview?
Well, if we're gonna do it next week, I'm out Tuesday through Friday.
Okay. Could you be here before the board meeting?
No.
What-
We
Could
can
you
do
be
it
here after the board
after.
meeting?
I can.
Okay.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
why would we not have, if that's the case, could you not have the interview at 5 and then with the board meeting to, you know, you could just say to be held afterwards, because the interview could be public. And that
Right.
way you just, you don't have to give a time for the board meeting, just interview for the candidate with the board meeting afterwards.
The truth is, the interview has to be public.
Right, I was gonna say, so.
You know, we can't do any
So
of this.
just do that, 5 o'clock.
So-
Sounds good.
If
All right.
it takes an hour, it takes
All
an hour,
right.
it takes 10
And
minutes.
we can do a public announcement that, I mean, it's one thing to slip a public meeting by a half hour or an hour. That's not the thing. The thing we can't do under sunshine law is spring a surprise meeting we don't announce. And so, we can announce that. Ms. Williams can announce that for us, that we, assuming we can line up Mr. Jones for 5 o'clock. He was planning to probably be here to give his report anyway, so probably should be right on his calendar, so I guess I need to reach out to him to ask him to come to a 5 o'clock interview on Monday, May 1st. And then we will announce that our board meeting, why don't we just say 6 o'clock board meeting instead of,
You know,
Sure.
if it's gonna take you an hour.
well,
But I like to follow.
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah, because if you're not taking out, yeah.
If it
5:30.
takes 10 minutes, then it's 10 minutes.
5:30, board meeting?
Can you not just say 5 o'clock in board meeting to follow, or do you have to have time? I mean, but if you
Yeah.
want to have time, have time.
Yeah, I just don't want to be,
Shouldn't take that long. I don't
No,
think.
so,
I don't think so.
I don't think,
Okay.
unless Bridget's gonna grill him or
I think 5:30 is good, you had to have a time.
Yeah, okay. We'll just say then, we'll announce that we're having a work session at 5 for the purpose of hiring, interviewing Mr. Eric Jones for the position of superintendent, and then our board meeting will follow the interview. That, we can make that work. Okay? Super. And we make a motion, we second it, we pass it. We don't do this very often, so I'm just trying to review the bidding here to make sure we've done everything. So that takes care of that part of it. How would the board like me to proceed? I emailed you a draft of a note, an email that I would send to candidates that are not going to be considered further. Do we want to hold on that for now? You want me to send
Did
it
you
to
text your email?
some? What now?
Was that a text?
I sent it to your personal emails, sorry.
Okay. Okay. It looks good.
So should I go ahead and send that to some, maybe not all of the candidates other than Mr. Jones? How would the board like me to? This is kind of the thank you for applying, but you're not going to be considered further. It's probably safe to assume that a
Could
few
you
of
not
these.
just wait and send that after Monday?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Then
that,
just wait
it's
till
not that much
Monday.
time,
No.
not that much time. Okay. What I might do, I've had a couple of the candidates email me to ask for a status. What I might do is just email all the candidates and tell them that I should have a response to them following Monday's board meeting.
Yeah.
Does that seem reasonable?
Mhm.
And if you have any other words or suggestions for that email, just let me know and I'll make those. Just kind of want to get something to them. Well, that's, I think our business here is done.
The only thing you might want to know is, how are y'all gonna do the questioning? Are y'all gonna each ask a question, somebody gonna be part of that, or y'all just gonna random pop on that, somebody? Would be my concern,
Good
y'all,
question.
you be prepared.
I'd say bring whatever questions or topics you want to discuss, and we'll start at 5 and just
Everybody
ask
have
your
one
own
question?
question.
Yeah.
Everybody have a
Everybody have a
question.
Have yours. Yeah. What we do.
That'd be great.
That's what we did last time, yeah.
Bring one question.
It's when my dog
Oh,
started barking.
on that. To be on the record, I want Miss Murdoch to bring the same questions that she asked me. To the that lady.
You know, I might. It's still important. They're just as important as they
Well, good. Good, so just bring that, you don't have to, identify your question in advance or anything, just bring it to the interview and we'll have a good discussion.
I think that's great.
Anything else that I'm forgetting about this process? I mean, we gotta stick to this agenda.
Okay, don't
But
act the
Can't
cat.
bring up,
I can't-
can't bring up all that other stuff.
That's right, but is there something else we need to
Lay down.
refine about this?
Just be adjourned.
That's all.
Anything else that you can think of?
No, I just want to say, I think we had some great candidates though.
We did.
Like pleasantly surprised at the quality of candidates we had apply.
I think it says a lot about the reputation of the school system and
Yes.
the leadership that our superintendents now and before have brought to make it a professional
Yes.
organization. I think it says a lot. So, okay, any final comments? We stand adjourned. Thank you.